So everyone quickly, so what is your understanding about digital marketing? What do you think that happens in the digital marketing domain, or maybe in the digital marketing role, what are you supposed to do? What is the expectation from the employer? So you are free to answer, and whatsoever is running on your mind and whatsoever the understanding you have got, you can please speak it. No issues at all. Yeah. So what is your understanding about digital marketing, and what do you think an employer or a business owner expects from you when you work in a digital marketing role associated with that organization? Creating website, not really, but as a digital marketer you might uh, get into that as well. You might experience that as well. There is a possibility that the business owner or the employer might expect you to build a website also, but that's negligible, 1%, 5% chance. That's not the main expectation from the employer. What is that they expect when you join as a digital marketer in an organization? Communication to the customer. So communication to the customer. So are you going to call over phone and speak to the customer? Then what is the expectation? Priyanka, Priya, right? Not Priyanka, Priya, right? Hello, Priya, are you following it?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So you're Priya or Priyanka?
Priya.
Priya, okay. So Priya, so what is the expectation by the employer when they hire you for the digital marketing role? Or forget about the employer. What is your basic understanding as a digital marketer? What is that you're going to do? What is done in digital marketing?
Digital marketing means is a technologist.
Oh, is a technology. It's a technology. Okay. See, first thing is when you work in digital marketing role, the main goal or objective is to build visibility for the product or service or for the business or for the person or for any piece of content or information. The main goal of digital marketer is to build visibility. Okay, so for example, so if it is offline scenario, if you have to build visibility for any product or business or for any service, so what do people do? They print pamphlets, correct? They print pamphlets, they put hoardings across the city, they publish it on TV ads, correct? This is what they do, correct, everybody? So now when it comes to digital marketing, so in digital marketing, the expectation is you have to build the visibility on internet. So you know 90% of the population, so at least 75 to 80% of the population in India is spending time on internet. So it could be browsing websites like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Amazon, right? Just dial, Meesho, Google, correct? So all this is internet. Internet is nothing but we're going to discuss each of those things. So digital marketing is all about building visibility for your products or services or business or any piece of information that you want to communicate or put across. You're going to build visibility for all of this on the internet. You have to make your presence on the internet. Correct? So if you have to make your presence offline, so what do? You will put the hoardings, you'll print the pamphlets and distribute. You might probably attend some events or conferences. Correct? You are making your visibility and proving your presence, or you are trying to impart. You're trying to leave a particular impression about you. Correct? That's why people go join these events, conferences, meetings, functions. They're trying to build visibility for themselves. That's marketing, offline marketing. But if it's offline, the same is expected, but on the internet. Right? Clear? Everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So when it comes
Yeah.
to internet, you may have to understand what is this internet and various other things on the internet. See, offline printing a pamphlet or putting a hoarding is all quite simple. Correct? It's easier to understand. But how is this happening on the internet? Who is doing all of that? What has to be done by you if you are a digital marketer? Right? So there are n number of things, and to understand digital marketing, so we may have to understand few basics such as what is an internet. You all are using internet for the last 1 decade or 2 decades, but you have no clue what is internet, correct? And you must have heard of this term, server is down, server, correct? And you don't know what is server. You might have heard of the term website, and you don't know what a website is. And when you open, so when you open any website, you see a beautiful screen and you have no clue how this is happening and how this is built, correct? Correct. So, in order to become a good digital marketer, you may have to understand all of these things first, right? So, you have to understand how was this website built, and you're going to build these kinds of websites for sure. And you have to understand what is the internet, right? Yeah. So, we'll get started with a few simple things and definitions. Yeah. So, I'm hoping online joiners can see the screen. You do see offline joiners see the screen, right? Yeah. Okay. So, any idea what is an internet? Okay. So, at least what do you usually do on internet, and what exactly is happening? Okay. So, see, for example, if you have something residing on your computer or on your mobile phone, and if you expect the whole world has to see it, you have to put it on the internet. If you expect your friend to see that photo or a resume or whatsoever it is, you're going to send it to them over WhatsApp, correct? Over WhatsApp or maybe over email, correct? But if you expect the whole world, business has to communicate some crucial information, and if they expect the whole world has to see it, what should they be doing? They have to put it on the internet. Okay. And now we are going to understand what is this internet and what kind of infrastructure or systems needed in order to build visibility or in order to make it available for everybody, correct? So if it is stored on a hard disk, any content or information, hard disk, you all know hard disk, right? External hard disk, or maybe let's take internal hard disk, the hard disk of your computer, C drive, E drive, correct? So whomsoever have access to it, they are going to see the contents, correct? So now you understand, if this hard disk is connected to multiple computers, people from multiple computers can browse the information sitting on the drive, correct? C drive or E drive or D drive, correct, everybody? So now you know that if this disk is accessible by multiple computers, everybody can see the information residing on this drive. Clear? Now what should you be doing if everybody on the internet, everybody across the globe has to see that information residing on your drive? Simple, you have to connect that drive to, instead of 100 systems, 2 systems, 3 systems, you may have to connect it to multiple, not multiple, to every computer on the internet. They should be basically able to browse your computer, correct? Correct. But practically that's not feasible. In order to make it feasible, it can be implemented in a different way, right? So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to understand the server. So what is this server? You all have heard of server term, right? What is server? Anybody here from engineering and BCA background? BSc computers? Heard of the term server? No? Curious to know what is server? Are you keen to know, curious to know what is server? What is server? See, server is simply a storage space, right? But then if it's a storage space, you should be calling it as a hard disk or a pen drive, correct? Hard disk and pen drive also are the storage spaces. Well, why is it called a server? Servers are not just the storage space, but they have additional capabilities which can get connected to multiple computers simultaneously, which has data processing capabilities and which can interact with multiple computers simultaneously, process the data, and it can interact with multiple computers simultaneously. That's when it's called as server. If it is just storing the data, it's not called as server. It can be your pen drive, hard disk, or memory card. If your memory card, pen drive, hard disk has a capability to interact, has a capability to process the data and interact with multiple computers and has a processor like the RAM. Your mobile phones has the RAM, right? Your mobile phone is also a computer, right? But then we call it as mobile phones, which are also computers. So servers are simply the storage spaces which has processing data processing capabilities and which can simultaneously connect with multiple computers and can exchange information to and fro between computers and servers. Sorry, computers and storage space is called as server. Clear, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So you all understood now what is a server. Server is a storage space. But if it is just a storage space, we would call it as a pen drive or hard disk or an memory card. Correct? We are calling server for a reason because it has processing capacity, data processing capacity. It has RAM. It can simultaneously interact with multiple computers and can exchange information to and fro, which is called as server, right? So in my company here, I can put a server and now I can store data on this server and 20-30 computers which are located in this office can interact with this server, can send data to this server and also can receive data from the server to their computers. It can access data which is residing on the server already, which is stored on the server already, or it can access or it can receive. It can access, receive, and it can store. It can send data from the computer. Correct? So now if the same computer is getting connected to the internet, right? Before we discuss what happens if it is getting connected to the internet, let's understand what is internet. What is internet? You all have heard of internet and using that word since a while. I would love to hear from all of you your definition or your understanding whatsoever it is, and you're free to speak in Kannada, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, whatsoever language you are comfortable. Yeah. So what is internet as per you? Used for all. Yeah, all of us are using it. But what is internet? Okay, so internet is basically a network which is establishing communication between computers, where the exchange of information happens between the computers. So, for example, you are doing something on your computer or you have photos on your computer, and now these photos from your computer can be sent to another computer over a network called World Wide Web. This World Wide Web or network is nothing but the LAN cables that you must have seen laid, the optical fiber cables laid in the ground, correct? You must have seen, right? These optical cables are not just laid in your street, they are laid across the country and they reach the borders, and from there they get connected to the other countries as well. Now the data transfer is happening over these cables from your computer residing in Bangalore or whichever place you are, Hyderabad or whatsoever, to any other computer located in any part of the globe. Internet is basically the exchange of information between the computers over the world wide web. Clear? Everybody clear? Is that clear? Internet is simply the exchange of information between the computers over the world wide web. The to and fro communication between the computers is called as internet. And now computers here are not just your desktops, they are laptops, they are your desktops, tablets, mobile phones, or any device that has the power or capability of connecting with internet is called as computer. And now the exchange of information between the computers over the world wide web is called as internet. Understanding? Clear? Now, if your server is getting connected to the internet, it's called as internet server. See, now if a server is sitting in my office, it's called as local server where only computers residing in this office can access data or send data to the servers from their computers. Now, if the same server is connected to the internet, now anybody can access data residing on this computer or can send information to this server, right? If the servers are getting connected to internet, they're called as internet servers. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, you all understand now what is internet and what is a server. Server, I think I have already defined it, is a storage space with information storage and processing capabilities and can be accessed by multiple computers and can exchange the information to and fro between the computers, between the multiple computers si- simultaneously. Okay, so it's called as server. Internet server is the server simply getting connected to the server. The moment it's connected to internet server, now it's not only computers situated located in your house or in your office, but now any computer from any part of the globe can access data on your server or can send data to the server. Clear? Yeah, internet is the exchange of information, the to and fro exchange of information between the computers over the world wide web. Clear? Now, if the same exchange of information or communication happens between the computers within the organization, not anywhere, these computers are connected within the organizations. They cannot, and if the information, basically here the information exchange or communication is happening only within the closed network or closed group. There are 10 computers in your home and the information exchange is happening only between the 10 computers over the LAN cable, over the internal network is called as intranet. Clear? Okay. Everybody it's clear? Priya, you see the screen, right? The Google Doc? Okay. Okay. So you understood internet, intranet, server, internet server. Internet server is also called as hosting server, right? Now, have you ever heard of the term called browser? Can anybody here name the browsers, few browsers that you know or you are using? You must be using on your phone as well, correct? So, you know the browsers, right? Website. What is website? What is website? Okay. Okay, anyways, so I'll go one by one. Okay, okay. So I'll get started with. So now you know internet. Internet is now basically exchange of information or the transfer of information between the computers over the network, right? And basically the exchange of information is happening only when this is stored at some place, correct? Now if you expect your resume to be seen by everybody, you have to store it on internet, right? Internet also comprises, includes or consists of the storage space. It's not just about the exchange of information between the computers, but the exchange of information happens only when computers have access to the information. And where is this information residing? Information is always sitting on some storage space, correct? Correct. So now computers which are connected to the storage spaces which can access the information over the internet. Basically computers connected to the internet server and has the power or capability to exchange information between them is a, what is that? Internet. So now if you are expecting your photos to be seen by the complete globe, if you are expecting your resume to be seen by complete globe, what should you be doing? You have to put it on internet server, correct? How do you put it on internet server? Is it a container in the kitchen? Is it a utensil? Is it a box in the home to put that in the internet server? So if you are expecting something to be seen by everybody, you have to put it on a server that is connected to the complete globe, correct? And how do you get this server and where is this server? Up to here it's clear, right? If everybody has to see it, you have to put it on the internet server. If you are putting it on your own server, local server, or on your hard disk or on your memory card, hardly you will see, or somebody sitting next to you will see that, correct? If you expect the whole world to see that, you have to put it on internet server. How will you get this internet server? From where do you get this internet server? How do you get the internet server? Is it is it really important for you to own a internet server? How do you get this internet server? There are two options. I hope you all are following the screen. There are two options. One is you register on a portal or platform that is already using the internet server or connected to the internet server. Or maybe I'll do this as second point. Okay, let it be first point. Okay. You register on a portal or a platform that's already using the internet server or connected to the server. Example, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, Naukri, etc. See now what is happening is they all have they all have internet server, a storage space. They all have internet server, a storage space, and creating a path for you to upload, creating a path or convenience for you to upload content, photos, images, photos or images, videos, or any file of any format. They all have internet server, a storage space, and creating a path or convenience for you to upload the content, videos, or any file of any format. So how are you doing it? You are creating an account with Instagram, correct? And you will start uploading a photo. And now this goes and sits on the storage space which is connected to the internet. Correct? So now the data. So now what are you doing exactly? You are signing up an account and uploading it, which is directly passed to the storage space. Are you all understanding this? No? Or server. And now there is a path. So have you ever observed, if you store a photo on your computer, it shows the photo is saved in D drive slash 2024 photos slash birthday photos slash my photos, something like that, correct? That's the path. Same way the content, whatever you upload, goes and sits on the server with some path. And now there is a path to access the same, which is called as universal resource locator, URL. Now I am sending this link to you, it's called as URL. Or I'll be sending a link to you, this link to you, and it's called as URL. Yeah, this is called as URL. So if you have to access this content or information is stored on one of the web on the server, and now to access this you are using this path, which is called as URL, Universal Resource Locator. Clear? Right? First option you understood. You register on a portal or a platform that is already using the internet server or connected to the internet server, and you will publish it, and everybody will. And now what is happening? You can send this link. You will publish something on Facebook or Instagram, and you will send that link also, right, to people. Correct? The other option is, what happens next? The platform itself pushes the content you published to various other users of the platform. You are publishing a photo or an image or a video on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere, and now this is being seen by multiple people. You are not taking the URL, you are not sharing it with anyone, correct? Correct, and it is going to share, it is going to display to various other people who have registered and using that platform, correct, everybody? Right, this is one method, right? Second method, you can own or purchase the internet server or hosting server and can drop your content or information there. Correct? You can own or purchase the internet server or hosting server, and you can drop the content or information there. So if it is dropping your photo or video on YouTube or Instagram, you all know how to do that. It's quite simple, correct? It's very easy, correct? But how do you do if you own your own server? You can drop the information, drop the information onto your server in multiple ways, right? Number one is creating a content management system or software or platform or backend. People also call this with the name called backend, right? Number two, using the software or platform called as um, FTP, file transfer protocol, file transfer protocol such as WinSCP, FileZilla, DuckGo, and many more. Are you all getting this? Any questions? Understanding, right? Right. And third method is through cPanel. Like how you access your hard disk from computer. Your hard disk is always accessed. You're not accessing it in the air, right? You will visit, you go to your laptop, correct? And you will access it from your laptop, correct? So basically the operating system, right? Same way here, the operating system or the controlling system, when you buy the spaces, there is something called as control panel or a C panel. Control panel. So C panel. C panel is a control mechanism built by the hosting providers or the internet server providers. We are going to look into each of these things. Okay, each of these things, how they all work. So now in this first scenario, it's very simple. If you are uploading the content, how are people seeing that content? They are going to the URL or it's seen on the Facebook, Instagram. But when you upload content, when you upload content to the server, how do public access or see that content? Here it is clear, it is all showing whatever you are uploading, it is showing on Instagram or Amazon or YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, correct? You are uploading something and you have no idea where is that photo that you have uploaded is going. But ultimately you are seeing it on the Facebook and Instagram in the front end. But where is this getting stored? And how is that getting shown on the app? People are visiting from somewhere else, from other part of the country or from some other PG or from some other house, some other office, some other part of the town, correct? And they're able to access or see that content, right? How exactly it works is the data, the data you upload is stored on the database database. Second step, they write a program, a program written to render the data from the database, right? And third thing, the rendered is it's taken out. The rendered data is wrapped in a language that's understandable by the browsers, by the internet or browsers, which produce the wave or visibility that can be seen by the eyes. See, for you, you are seeing this website, but to see this website, what is happening? A photo is there, there's so much of information. What is happening here? First thing is the data you upload is stored on database. The program is written to render the data from the database, right? And then the rendered data is wrapped in a language that's understandable by the internet or browsers. For example, kids understand it to be as a chocolate or show interest in consuming that sweet or chocolate whatsoever only when it is wrapped in the paper. You go and give the chocolate to them directly like that, they will not show interest in it, or they will not think that doesn't correct as a chocolate, right? Same way now, your information what is stored in the database, what is that you are trying to pull in and show to the public on the browsers, cannot be read or understood by the browsers, cannot be displayed like this by the browsers until and unless it's wrapped in one of the programming language called as HTML, which produces visibility that can be seen by the eyes. Language, it's called as HTML. See, any data that is sitting on the server cannot be accessed just like that. See, if it is a data sitting on your friend's mobile phone, you can know the password, you can steal the data, you can access the data like that. Even if it is data sitting on your computer, on your phone, you can just go to your phone and you can access the data, correct? But when it is sitting on the internet server, how do you access the data? Are you going to give a call to internet server? Is internet server your friend or relative? Is internet server a store, a bag or a container where you can put your hand and take the data? You cannot do any of these things. You cannot do any of these things. There is a way to communicate. Can you directly go to Prime Minister's home? There is a way to, if it is your friend's home, there is a good possibility that you can go directly, right? There is a protocol, correct? If you have to go and meet your college principal or your CEO, founder of the organization, there is a protocol followed, correct? Even for the meetings, right? Same way here, there is a protocol followed, right? So if you have to access data sitting on the servers or anywhere on the internet, you have to use an application called browser. To name few browsers, it is Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Opera. There are many such browsers. What are these browsers? These browsers are the softwares or applications which are establishing communication between your computer and internet server or any server. Clear? You all understand what a browser is? So if anybody asks you what a browser is, tell them the browser is an application, software, or a tool you can call by any name, which is establishing communication between your computer and internet server. See, now this content is sitting on internet server, and how did I access? I opened Chrome browser, and so now even if you have to Google or get any information, any information that's residing on the internet, you are using browser. I'm going to Google and searching buy shoes online, right? Browser is helping me to access the content residing on the internet, correct? Same way, browser is helping me to send the content or information on my computer to the internet server, correct? Everybody, up to here it's clear, or is it confusing or feeling or looking like as if that's a new something that's not understandable like a Chinese language. Everybody, you're all getting it right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, browser is an application or a software or a tool that's establishing communication between your computer and internet where to and fro exchange of information is happening between your computer and server. Right? So coming back. So now to this browser, the information is sent from your server to your browser. How is it sending? How is it sending? If you are sending some gifts to your friend, how do you send? How do you send? You bought a gift, you have to hand over it to your friend. How do you hand over it to your friend? Forget about internet. Send. How do you send? You might wrap it with some cover. You might wrap it with some cover, right? Gift cover or maybe something like that. Correct. So now see the content, all this information is residing on server. How do you send to browser is so you have to understand the computer's language, internet's language, browser's language. So the information can be seen like this only when all this information or details seen. Otherwise the information will be something like this. Let me show it to you. So what is that? Oh, this is not a right example, you might get confused. So let's say some information is running on your mind or there is information that's put on the document like this. So if you have to send it to people, if people have to access it, it has to be wrapped in HTML. So you have to save it in the format. See, if you have to send image, you will save it in the format PNG or JPEG, correct? And PDF files dot PDF, documents dot doc, right? See, that's the format understandable or readable by your computers. That's why you are saving it in that format, correct? You cannot have a hard copy paper next to you and expect that hard copy to go in the WhatsApp as it is, correct? You are going to convert that to a PDF version or to an image. That's when you are able to send it on WhatsApp. Clear? Right? Same way on the internet, whatsoever information you have, whether it is image or a PDF file or a document, you cannot send it like that. You have to wrap the document or image or whatsoever it is in a language called HTML. It looks something like this, which is called as hypertext markup language. You know it? Huh? You learned it? You know it? Basics, right? So now when you wrap any piece of information, when you have to present any piece of information, you have to present it only in hypertext markup language. If you expect the browsers to read, if you expect the internet to understand it, the search engines to understand it, you have to wrap it in hypertext markup language. So what you are doing is now basically your data, whatever is residing on the internet, if somebody has to access it, you have to create that convenience, right? So usually what happens is in the server, yeah. So now, okay. So now, for example, if you are purchasing a plot that will have the address, right? A plot, land, a piece of land that will have the address, correct? So how will you guide someone to your home or to your land or to your plot, whatsoever it is? How will you guide? If you expect somebody to be visiting, you will share the address, correct? Correct? Same way, whatever storage space that you have, the hosting space that you have, see usually this hosting space is purchased by you. I'll write it that as well here. You can own or purchase the internet server or hosting server and can drop your content or information. You can buy this hosting from one of the service providers such as GoDaddy, Amazon, Hostinger, HostGator, etc. There are many, correct? Right? So now when you purchase the hosting space, the storage space from these companies, they will give you an IP address. Okay. So for the purchased hosting space, you will get an address to access the storage space which is called as IP address. Okay, clear? Anybody has questions here? So when your information is dropped at this location by any of the below means, you have to provide IP address to them. For example, 191.72.89.2. So if somebody has to access the information stored in this storage space, you have to give them this IP. So I can type this IP and I'll be able to access the content like this, right? So now if I am accessing it like this, you'll be accessing the main page, main content, but within this address there will be multiple pieces of information, right? This one, so this is different content. It's an example. I can access this. Now if I am want to explore another piece of content, it's going to be something like this. Your content within the storage space like this is like your D drive. Within D drive you have created a folder. This is your D drive. Within D drive you have created a folder called photos, and within photos you will have all the photos dropped, or a particular file called the passport size photo of 2024. Passport size photo of 2024 is saved under the folder called photos, like let's say my photos, and my photos is in the D drive, correct? So this is the main storage space. In this, it's just the folder or segregation, correct? This is the main storage space, D drive, and within that you have created a folder called my photos, and within my photos you have multiple. You can have my photos, 2024 photos, and in 2024 photos again you can have passport size photos, and within that folder you will have the photo 1231.jpg, 121.png, correct? Or your name.png, correct? Are you all getting it? Clear? Same way on internet server, you will have the path, IP address to access the content or information, like how you are accessing your D drive or C drive. You will have the IP address, and within that you will have the path. The content will be segregated and stored or organized like this, right? Now the problem is it's practically difficult for you to tell to people that my content, my photo, my resume is stored in this path, right? You cannot keep telling to everybody visit 191 points. See now think of Flipkart. Can Flipkart and Amazon tell visit 191.72.62.1? Will you remember? Will they remember? So what they do is they give a name, like how you give a landmark opposite to so and so restaurant, opposite to BSNL office, opposite to PM office, opposite to a popular landmark, right? Right? Because people cannot really identify that address. So what we do here is when it comes to internet, we take a name. We will call this as Flipkart, or in this case here it is Learn and Thrive. We give a name, right? Now see it's accessible at this address. So we take a name for your address, name for your business, and we link the name and IP address. We connect the name and IP address, and now you don't have to type 191.72.61 point whatsoever it is to go to your address. Now the public can simply type the domain name, the name which you could promote or use everywhere. Correct? The IP address is now linked, and whatever you are storing on your computer or putting on your computer, now on my sorry on the server, now I have saved this information on my server. Let me show. I have saved all this. I have put all this information on my server. And now, how is this accessed? To access this, you can simply set 191.21 point. But I don't want to do that because it's practically difficult for me to remember and for people to remember and type it. So what I will say is type learnandthrive.com. Clear? Right? But this content, is this content sitting in the same format in the server? No. On the server, it is sitting in this format. On the server, it is presented or sitting in this format. And to the outside public, it is presented, it is sitting on the server like this in this format. So it is sitting on the server in this format, and to the world or to the public, it's presented like this. Got it? Clear? Priya, any questions, any doubts? Are you following it?
Yes, following.
Understanding it, right?
Yeah, understood.
Okay. So now you are seeing it beautifully like this. But how is it residing on your server? It is sitting on the server like this in this format. So now if you have to build a website, you have to learn this. What is this? Are you getting this, understanding this? What is this? Will you be able to really write something like this in order to present your information to the world in this format? Or any format? This website is looking like this. Maybe other website would look differently. See, you can present or write it any format of your choice. You can present it any way that you want, right? The home can be constructed of any design that you want, correct? But in the background, what's happening? Obviously, it's all brick, cement, metal, correct? Here also, it's the same thing: bricks, cement, metal. But what is that brick? What is that metal? What is that cement? We are going to learn what it is. You don't have to manufacture cement, bricks, or metal, but still you can build the home, right? Same way here, we are going to understand what is that background material or the material used to construct something like this. Okay. So now in order to build or construct something like this, you are using something called as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Ever heard of this? Anybody heard of it? HTML, heard of CSS, JavaScript? Yes. So was it part of your curriculum? The academics, read. You learned it from somewhere. Okay. So CSS is cascading style sheets, HTML is hypertext markup language, and JavaScript is used for functionalities on your web page. Okay. So what I'll do is, see up to here it's clear, correct? So in the next class, we will start writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And don't worry, we are not going to really learn. Our focus is not to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you are learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you will be called as website developer. You will be called as front end developer, right? So, but then you don't have to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. As a digital marketer, you should be knowing how a web page is built, correct? So we are going to learn how a web page is built, and without writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we are going to build a website as well. How beautiful it is! Without going to office, you are getting salary every month. Without working on the project, you are getting salary every month. Is that not beautiful? Same way, without you learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you are going to build the websites. Okay. So in the next class, we are going to look into how a HTML look like, right? How difficult or easy it is to learn. It's actually very easy to learn. It's fun. Learning HTML is fun. It's like playing some video games, right? You just have to get access to the right resources or the right guidance, and you will love it. Okay, so we are going to discuss that as well. What kind of resources would help you to practice HTML, and it's your choice. Should you be practicing or learning HTML or ignore it is completely your choice. We are not going to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but then in the coming class, I'm going to write HTML, a simple HTML, and show you how it looks like and how a simple web page can be built. Okay, we are going to write HTML in tomorrow's class. We are going to write HTML in tomorrow's class because you all have to understand how the HTML is written, right? You all have to understand how simple or difficult it is. HTML is used to create your web pages. This web page is now built of HTML. This is HTML, combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you will be using HTML to build applications, web applications, mobile applications. Okay. So you can use language to abuse someone or to praise someone, right? HTML same way can be used for anything. When you look for to build internet presence, when you expect it to be read by the servers, read by the browsers, right? You have to follow that protocol or nomenclature that's understandable by the internet, right? Okay, are we good to wind it up? If you have any questions, we'll discuss those questions. Or if you have anything else to discuss, let's say you are keen to know how is this front-end development career and what is needed to learn, you can go ahead and discuss anything. That should be perfectly fine. If you have no questions, we can wind it up for today. If you have something to discuss, we'll discuss. No questions? Are you all clear with everything that we discussed today? So, did I provide access to this document to all of you? No, right? Did I provide access to this document? So, if I haven't provided
No.
access, I'll provide it to you all right away. Let me know your email ID. What is your email ID? You see, right? Double three.